Hey guys, it's Chris. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm going to walk you through the first 5 things you should do with your CRF 300. 2 of those modifications I'm going to do at the end of this video, so stick around for that. Okay, in no particular order, I'm going to just run through my 5. Now, I'm going to use the bike off-road, so definitely one of the very first thing I'm going to mention is not an issue if you ride the bike 100% on road. But if you take it off-road, you're going to want to take that rubber out of the foot pegs. That rubber can lead your foot to slip, and you can end up dumping the bike needlessly, and probably in the worst possible scenario where there's mud and there's water and you're in a technical off-road situation. So save yourself the grief and potentially an injury and get that rubber out of those foot pegs. It's a simple single bolt in each peg, so it's a super simple job. But that'd be the first thing that I would do on my CRF 300. Okay, and so the second thing I do is definitely remove the quote-unquote seat belt, that strap that's on top of the seat. I've left it here so I can show you how to do this at the end of this video. So stick around, I'll show you how to take that off. I gotta think it's a styling thing, homage to 1984, but it's really uncomfortable, so we're gonna get rid of it. Thirdly, the bike has great styling. And to preserve that styling and your budget, you're gonna want a set of crash bars. I've got Outback Motortek crash bars on my particular 300 Rally. There's probably other choices out there. Either way, it's gonna save you a bunch of money because you are gonna drop the bike if you do take it off-road. So do yourself a favor and get yourself a set of crash bars straight away. Next on the list, I would say you definitely want a set of folding mirrors if you're taking the bike off-road. And I've got a couple different versions that I'm gonna test here at the end of this video and give you some insight into the size, the weight, and the capabilities of Doubletake's Enduro mirror and their ADV mirror. 2 good choices as you're considering what to put in place of the stock mirrors, because you don't want to be 1,000 miles from home and go for a little tumble in the woods and have no mirrors. And Doubletake are almost indestructible. To give you some insight as you're trying to make your decision. And the 5th thing that I think is definitely necessary is the 300 Rally is a great bike, and the fact that there's a windscreen is definitely a plus. But that windscreen performs best under 60 or 65 miles tops if you're about average height. Beyond that, it really buffets your helmet, and you're gonna really benefit from a visor. I've got a separate video on my channel that you can check out. I tried 3 different sizes and shapes, and I'll give you my feedback on what worked and how well it worked. So if I can figure out how to do it, I'll leave a link in the description on screen right now. Otherwise, you can find it in the description below. That said, let's dig in on the seatbelt thing, and then we'll take a closer look at those 2 Doubletake mirrors. So the seat is actually holding on with shoulder washers that are in here, even though the bolts are removed. And in order to allow some room for those shoulder washers to let the seat come up, so I'll get a small screwdriver and move these little spacers. So that's the culprit right there. All right, it's just 2 nuts on the bottom, and these are both 10 mil nuts. So because the strap corresponding nut are holding this hook in place, which helps the seat stay still, obviously we're gonna want to retain that piece of it. So I'll just add a washer and then we'll replace the nut. This one doesn't want to come off. A little snug. And washers, replace the nuts. There's a slight depression where that strap was kind of holding it. On the sides, that little carved out sections, it'll be noticeable, but very slight creasing to the top, which I think after riding it for a while will dissipate, so that it's just that notch that'll be noticeable over time. But I think the improvement in comfort is going to be well worth it. Okay, so the trick to reinstalling this now without taking the rack off is going to be getting the shoulder washer in, and then the spacer on top. All right, with that seatbelt gone, the last thing we're gonna do is try a couple different mirrors from Doubletake. So we're gonna use their adventure mirror and their enduro mirror, and I'm gonna ride with both of them and give you a look at what that looks like on the road, field of view, that kind of thing. Really quick, I'm gonna spin these stock mirrors off. If you just look close, there's a boot on here, which is probably no surprise, a couple of nuts here so that you can adjust the mirror. If you wanna use a wrench, which generally you don't have to, but a 14mm wrench is all you need for that. For the most part, with most of these, if you just push hard enough or give it a good nudge, you can spin these off. And we do the same again on the other side. Okay, with the mirrors removed, I'm gonna go with one adventure mirror on the left side of the bike. If you look closely at the Doubletake mirrors, there's no squared off piece here for a wrench to grab onto. So what you really actually need to do is use the mirror itself, tighten down your clamp, and use the mirror itself as a way to get some leverage to tighten this up. Basically, you're using the mirror itself as a wrench. And then I'm going to use the enduro mirror to go on the right-hand side of the bike. With both mirrors, build quality and lens clarity is excellent. On the scale, the enduro mirror is just about the same weight as the stock unit. Both are just about 10 ounces. The ADV mirror does come in a bit heavier at 14 ounces, which is definitely noticeable in your hand during install, but basically imperceptible once you're rolling. Nevertheless, the Enduro model will feel slightly better at the bars in technical off-road situations, so if you love the 300 Rally's light flickability, this is something to consider. Okay, so with both mirrors in place, it's now time to take it out on the road and give these a go, and I'll be right back momentarily with the feedback on how this works out and what the final choice is, at least for me, on this adventure bike build. So first off, what you'll notice about both mirrors is that they're just as good or slightly better at avoiding your elbows as compared with stock mirrors. And while the ADV mirror gives you a little better field of view, I'd say you won't really miss it on 2-lane roads around town. Basically, both mirrors allow you to happily manage the traffic behind you. Both mirrors are clear and stable at average engine speeds, but as you might expect with the 300 Rally over 5,000 RPMs, some of that vibration does come through and can be visible in the mirrors. Out on the highway, the difference between the two mirrors becomes much more noticeable. It seems like you can see a lot more of the traffic behind you. The ADV mirror allows you to manage 3 lanes of traffic. Even though the ADV mirror is only about 50% bigger, looking behind you on a multi-lane road, it sure seems like it's twice as wide as the Enduro. It easily allows you to monitor 3 lanes of traffic behind you, which is definitely more confidence inspiring. Also of note, you might notice that getting the mirrors perfectly adjusted to your liking is a little easier with the ADV mirror, probably because the pivot point is closer to the actual mirror. So getting it dialed in is just a bit quicker. But having said that, this is a minor difference and both mirrors are extremely competent on the road. Okay guys, so after riding the bike and looking at both mirrors, I could say both mirrors are really good and you'll probably be fine either way. But depending on how much time you spend on really big roads with multi-lane, that kind of thing, and you're trying to manage a lot of traffic around you, then I'd say definitely go with the adventure version of the Doubletake mirror. If not, definitely on an off-road basis, you're gonna really appreciate having a slightly lighter mirror. It's still, the Enduro mirror is still really good and gives you a nice field of view, and I don't have a problem with it. In fact, what I'm gonna do is run with the Enduro mirrors on the 300 Rally because I wanna spend more time off-road, and I just like the lightweight and just maintaining as light handling as possible. Depending on the type of travel you do and the type of bike and what you're after in terms of your build, you can choose accordingly. But either way, as I said, great mirrors, can't go too far wrong. All right guys, so I'm going with the Enduro mirrors and I've got them in place. Do note that there are adapters in the kit, and with the Rally 300, you don't need to use those. That 1-inch ball can be screwed directly into the stock threaded holes that the old mirrors came out of. And with that said, we're done our first 5 upgrades or modifications. Look for other videos where we explore ways to extract a little more horsepower out of the 300, as well as fully equip it for rally travel. Hopefully this was helpful for you. If it was, as always, smash that like and subscribe to follow along with everything we're doing with this Rally 300 to make it a fully capable adventure bike. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.